Hey guys, it's Christopher. Welcome to this Solarus live coding. Today we are going to continue the work on. Hey guys, I'm hearing myself. Stop. Okay. On the next version of the Solarus game engine, version 1.6, and we'll try to fix a few bugs. And we'll start with the bug. Actually, I know the number. Sprite collision test issue. It's a very stupid bug that Diorender found when he made complicated interactions between enemies and custom entities. So, basically, the problem is that when you add a collision test of type sprite, so a pixel precise collision test on a custom entity, the third and the fourth parameters here are sometimes reversed when the other entity is an enemy. So he made some very small code to help us reproduce the issue. Okay, so we will try to make a unit test that shows the problem instead of directly fixing the bug. Hi Phoenix, hi STD Gregoire, hi Adrian, I'm sure you're here somewhere. Yeah, so actually I already know where the bug is in the code, but what I want to do is to make a unit test so that it doesn't happen again. So let's open Solarus Quest Editor, and I will open that special quest that I use for testing. Where is it? Solarus, where are you? Solarus tests, testing quest. So I already worked on that testing quest in previous streams, but it's been a while. But the idea is that it's a special quest that you can't really play, but every map corresponds to something we want to test, and a lot of times it corresponds to a GitHub issue number. I already started to make a map for that particular issue, 1162, and I wasn't able to reproduce the exact problem Diorender was pointing because it was very unclear. But since his last message is very clear, and what I should do is use a custom entity and an enemy, and I was trying to use two custom entities so far. Okay, we'll update the code later. So, I have a custom entity. It has a sprite block, but it's just because I don't have a lot of sprites available here. What else could I try to use? Doesn't really matter. Custom entity. Shadow. And it will be called custom entity. Then let's make an enemy called enemy. Model green slime. Don't really want it to move though. So let's put a wall. He's afraid of frogs like you. And let's make the enemy sprite overlap the custom entity sprite, and the wall is just to prevent the enemy from moving. Okay. And then the code will be similar to that. So we have a custom entity. Oh yes, but since only one of them is a custom entity, there will be only one add collision test call. Collision detected by custom entity. So I don't need to be that verbose anymore. It's called custom entity. Add collision test sprite. Me, other, my sprite, other sprite. Okay. Collision detected by... oh, just collision detected. So assert me is custom entity. And then other might be enemy, but it might also be not the wall because it doesn't overlap and it has no sprite. So if it's a sprite collision, I guess there is no other case. The hero will be here, and there's also the camera entity, but it has no sprite. So the collision test really should only be triggered when detecting the enemy. And my sprite should be me get sprite, and other sprite should be other get sprite, always. And actually this will be a number. I'm not exactly sure of how many collisions will be detected, because well, the enemies, none of the entities are moving, so I think 2 collisions will be detected. The custom entity will detect the enemy, and the enemy will detect the custom entity, which will, in both cases, will call our callback function. Okay. So 1 second after the map start, we want collision count to be at least 2, I think. We'll see if it works. All right.
Okay, so you want to know what about we are talking?
Okay, so to run the unit test, and just type
I told you because
C test.
told me he's got married. He will be married, but no.
Failed. Okay, so what happened? Let's be verbose. Assertion failed, line 11.
And he will be in the TV show.
Yeah, so apparently
the first date.
our bug was detected by the unit test, but to be really sure, we could also assert that my sprite is not other get sprite, and that other sprite is not me get sprite.
Oh yeah, we know, but this is old.
Line 11. There we are. We have isolated the bug. We have a very small unit test that just captures the bug.
Also stupid like this.
Parameters were passed by the engine to my callback in the wrong order. The parameters 3 and 4. Now let's. So that's good. It's good that we have a nice unit test. Okay. So, Solarus engine. I think I remember. I already know where the bug is.
We did tank.
If I collision with enemy.
Oh, I think.
Well. Okay, so in C++ we have the current enemy detecting a collision with another entity, and then the order of the parameters of the sprite parameters are the enemy sprite and the other sprite. So, and we pass them in this order to that other function, which for custom entities, oops, I misclicked, go back. So, in the case of an enemy detecting a custom entity, this function is called enemy sprite and custom entity sprite. Okay, so far so good. So you already can notice that if you consider that the custom entity is the first parameter, this is the second, this is the third, and this is the fourth. Well, the order is reverse. It's not the same as in Lua. And I don't really want to change the profile of this function right now in the C++ because it's a virtual function, unfortunately.
Yeah, but I don't have life. So
And well, Qt creator knows all overrides, so maybe I can take the risk. Can also do a global search. No. All projects. I'm hesitating because it will be a bit tedious. Because an easier way to fix a problem is to custom entity to just fix the order here. That was the mistake. Because notify collision from that other function takes the other and then the custom entity and then the other sprite. Other sprite. No? What? Oh, okay, this one is like notify collision with enemy. Sorry, so this was correct. Notify collision from other entity, other sprite, this sprite, but I could also change this one as well. Anyway, this one I'm sure takes the other entities, this sprite and the other sprite. So the error was here. Okay, compilation is finished. Let's try to run the unit test again. And it works. And I don't know exactly how many times the callback was called, but at least twice. Yeah, good. Because both entities have detection capabilities. So it's normal that it's called twice. Or more, as soon as one moves or something happens. As soon as one is enabled, unsuspended. We don't really want to control how many times exactly it's called. Okay, but now I want to make the code cleaner here and more coherent with the rest. So the current entity goes first. Okay, so for this function it's easy because it's not a virtual function. and it's called where I have to be careful here. The problem is that I don't have a lot of unit tests for all cases, but clearly here I should take care of all colors of my function. And since both parameters have the same type, I will not have any compilation error if I make a mistake, if I forgot to update one color. So since you guys are here, please double check what I'm writing and that I don't miss any call. Okay, explosion, sprite, explosion. Same for fire. Fire entities are almost never used in modern projects. You can easily implement fire with custom entities. And with enemy, okay, that one is unit tested since today. Since a few minutes ago. Okay, so if I collision from enemy this sprite, enemy sprite, that's good. I'm compiling again. So I updated the order here in the comments and also in the H file. Okay. And now I will take care of where is my function notify collision with enemy.
Because I speak.
Okay. I really want to fix this one, and then everything will be coherent. So let's search for this in the whole project. And start with, maybe there is a way to get errors, get compilation errors.
Yeah, don't take
if I make a mistake. Maybe I have an idea. Let's change the type of this parameter. And then
really
no, let's don't change it yet. Just want to know how many overrides we have exactly. So this is the main function. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I change this, I should have 7 compilation errors. Let's change it also in the definition. And yeah, not there yet. Okay. So 1. We have the same error twice. Oh, because of includes. But hero carried object. Ah, and the compilation doesn't go any further. But okay, this is a way to be a bit safer when I change the order of the parameters. I'm sure that I broke the compilation of all colors and all overrides thanks to the override C++11 keyword. Sprite is sprite, enemy sprite. Okay. Yeah, the fix was fast, because the harder part was to identify exactly the problem. It was really in the middle of a lot of code in Children of Solarus with complex entities. And Diarendor made a good job at simplifying the code to really isolate the bug. Okay, so if I want it to compile, I need to update this like that. Of course, yeah.
Yeah, but
with enemy, this sprite.
Stitches press my mind control.
Then arrow. So this is a third override we fix out of 7 normally.
You're dead because she she.
And let's just copy doc and entity notify collision with enemy. Enemy sprite. Okay. This one should temporarily be a pointer. Okay, number 4. Sprite, this sprite. Maybe there's a way to refactor all overrides of in one go, but I really want to be sure. Entity notify collision with enemy.
Yeah, Solarus has stitches, both of them. But we need what more?
Okay, so that was number 4. Then another class, the class enemy itself. Okay, because enemies can detect each other. And notify collision with enemy. You are here. Good. That was number 5. I think.
I'm searching for one more. Coucou.
That was number 5, yes.
Non, pas coucou. Salut. Coucou, ça t'allait pas. Ah, mais j'ai pas entendu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Custom entity, of course.
Ben, moi j'ai pas fait ça, j'ai la semaine dernière, du coup. Non, j'ai pas fait encore.
Yeah, so since this is temporarily a pointer, it doesn't compile. Same here. And wait, what? Oh my god.
Attends, j'essaie de trouver.
That's bad. That's really bad. I was hoping that at least the Lua API was coherent with order of parameters in collisions, but apparently not. On collision enemy. Ah. Sprites are passed in the reversed order. Okay. We will deprecate this function later.
Look, my work is smiling.
Because I am no longer breaking compatibility.
No, it's from rank, and he's killed us on level.
Parameters. I'm creating an issue to do it later.
So he's gold, but yeah, or silver. I don't know. Oh, my sister doesn't like this.
Okay.
I turned off the light.
I'm not sure if we will do that for 1.6. It's probably a bit out of scope. Well, I could force it to compile. No, this is right. Okay, next one, hookshot. Marked override but does not override. That's why I changed the profile temporarily, to be sure that the override functions generate a compilation or a compilation error.
Yeah, it depends.
Sprite,
Good, but
this
depends,
sprite.
No, look at the Nara. Nara, maybe?
Yeah, there are some inconsistent API choices, unfortunately. Like in circular movements, we have some functions that use radians. Most angle functions in the whole API use radians, but in the circular movements, some functions use degrees in the Lua API. And of course, degrees and radians all have the number type, so there is really no way to make sure that we update them even if you decided to make an incompatible change, we would not even get any error. So I will deprecate the functions that take degrees and make other ones with radians. Notify collision. This one has a correct order.
And you don't like this map. Look at her breast. This is too.
So I won't be able to stream a lot this weekend.
Okay, don't come tomorrow. Okay?
So the next scheduled stream will be Thursday, next Thursday. And maybe I will still be able to stream something this weekend, but I'm really not sure. And the next stream will be a chess stream. I mean the stream, yeah, so Thursday stream. A lot of functions, a lot of classes are recompiling right now. Let's search for this function again in, no, not just in this file but everywhere. Currently the compilation was successful.
Melville was a good Diablo when I was with him in the rank, and but I wrote because of Countess.
This sprite is first here.
100 and
This sprite is first here.
It's okay.
I'm now checking all matches here. I really want to be very careful and double check. This sprite, enemy sprite. This sprite, other sprite. Good. So here I have to keep the bad order for Lua API compatibility reasons. This sprite, enemy sprite. Well, in this case it doesn't really matter. Then we have another one here, explosion. This sprite, enemy sprite. This sprite, enemy sprite. Great. Hookshot. This sprite and enemy sprite.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Nice.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Direction. Digitation.
Okay, good. And let's restore the reference now. I told you it would be tedious. Marked override but does not override. Yeah, I have to change. With enemy sprite. Try hard. So I guess I no longer need that. Search result. Oh, this one didn't use any sprite. Okay, wait. Error. Custom entity.
You don't like pandas? No, you don't like.
This sprite.
Kidding or not? Well, because it's dark
Entity.
and black and white.
Explosion.
Yeah, but the pandas.
Don't worry, it's almost done. Hero.
Oh. I told you.
Hookshot already done. Okay. So yeah, here it is. Still one function remaining that has the sprite parameters in the bad order.
Yeah,
But
I
don't want to break compatibility. So as I was saying, this function will stay, but will be deprecated. And if I want, I can create another one with correct order, or maybe perhaps something with a callback instead of just this function.
Yes.
I forgot this one. Carried object.
Nice. Request. Okay, I go to the function.
What's wrong here? This enemy sprite. Ah, this third one, that one was actually a pointer. What's wrong again? Okay. Okay, this time I think we will be good. So what should we fix next, assuming that compilation is okay and the unit test is still okay? That one was annoying, and that one also for children of Solarus development. Enemy on custom attack does not allow to call enemy hurt. We do this one first. Just hope that this will not break existing games. My unit test failed. Wow.
Yeah.
So what I did didn't work.
Yes.
My callback got the wrong order with sprites. Okay, back to custom entity. Notify collision with enemy is called. Oh yeah, but I forgot to update all colors of this function, didn't I? I think there's only one guy who calls this function, and it's enemy. Other entity, me, other sprite, and my sprite. Yeah, since I switched the order of parameters here, I should have switched them here. I was hoping that my pointer trick would tell me that there was a problem, and it did, but I still didn't change the order. Okay, so I don't think it's called anywhere else. The other matches of the search were just some overrides and H files. Okay. Thank you, unit test. Yeah, so that was a good workflow to fix a bug. First you write a test, then you write a fix. I mean, first you write a unit test and it has to fail, then you write a fix and your unit test passes, and then you do some refactoring. It happens very often. And after your refactoring, your unit test can tell you if your refactoring was correct or not. Okay, so I changed all these files. Fix wrong order. Wait, I want to update the changelog. Where do we put that? Fix hero shield sprite hero. It's about custom entities, so let's put it just after the hero. Custom entity, collision, callback, sprite parameter order.
But it's not now?
Oh, fix sprite parameter order. Parameters in custom entity collision callback 1162. Closes. There we go. I should try to run all tests before I commit.
Oh, nice.
Test-driven programming is not a pain, not at all. Writing the unit test is what helped us understand the bug, understand what's wrong, and then how to fix it was easy because we knew the exact problem, and then refactoring was not risky, was less risky, let's say, because of the unit test. So we actually win some time on the long term. And git push. Okay. And it should refresh. Oh, it was this one. Closed. Okay. Automatically closed thanks to the commit message. Alright, good. You see, it takes some time. We almost an hour on this bug, but I already knew exactly where to fix the code. So I could have fixed it quickly and not have done any unit tests, but this is the kind of code that would break easily later. And as we saw, I tried to refactor some functions, and if I had done the same without unit test, I would not have noticed the problem. Okay. Sword loading state is stopped if on-custom attack received is used. Okay.
Just restart.
Actually, I'm hesitating now. So the problem is very clear. If you code an enemy and you put a custom reaction to one of your attacks, it will call that event enemy on custom attack received. Attack received. And before this function is called, maybe after. Wait, custom attack. Source notify attacked enemy. Yeah, so
he said he's just level 22.
You didn't find overrides this time?
Yeah, but then she feels like he's playing this every day. Yeah, but no.
Sword loading state. Notify attacked enemy. After an attack, stop loading the sword. So can explain. Let's play Zelda XD2 because it's fun.
Oh.
If you attack an enemy, this is an enemy. With your sword loaded, the sword automatically stops. And it actually doesn't matter if the attack had the effect of hurting the enemy or doing something custom. Oops. And that's the problem, because if you are doing something custom, you don't really want the hero to automatically get back in normal state. If you want to do it, you can always do it from Lua very easily by calling hero unfreeze. But if you don't want to do it, well, the engine does it for you. So that's bad. I can easily fix it if I just check if I do this only if the reaction type was hurt or protected or immobilized, but not custom. However, if I do that, I might slightly break compatibility. So it's allowed to break compatibility if there was really a clear bug like the one we just fixed. Actually, it does break compatibility.
But you ban things? Why? you can custom new things.
But it doesn't count. It was the engine doing the wrong thing and not respecting the specification. Okay, so I want to have an idea. Is on custom attack received used a lot? So I will look for that in all my projects. Yeah, there are like 10 enemies who use that in all projects.
Yeah, but before we played against Master.
For example, in
Yes,
Zelda XD2, what do we have? We have the fireballs, flying tile. Ah, yeah, for example, flying tile. And that's a good point. On custom attack received, if state is attacking, then self disappear.
Oh.
Yeah, we want the sword to do something custom with them. We have flying tiles in Grand Tower. Oops, where am I? Ah, no! Okay. Let's go directly to flying tiles and cheat. Wow, I'm in the game here and not here. That was weird. Anyway. Flying tiles. Flying tiles.
Yeah, but I voted for Cartas because he was really good.
They are here.
Everybody was really good. Okay.
But I have to arrive from this door.
Yeah,
Ah!
yeah.
They don't start. Maybe I have to solve this puzzle first. How do I do it again?
Because you get not less 200.
So I just want to have a feeling of what would be the correct engine behavior with using the sword loaded with custom attacks. So, for example, here it's very common in this. It's a very good technique to keep your sword loaded here. But it's also the expected behavior of this game to that the sword is stopped after the attack is successful. So I wouldn't say it's a bug after all. When the attack is successful, the sword is always stopped. But okay, sometimes if it's a custom attack, sometimes if it's a custom attack, maybe you don't consider that the attack was successful, and maybe you don't want to stop the sword. So what do we do here? Flying enemies that can only be attacked with a jumping sword attack and not from the ground. Thank you for the follow, Dongle Dubs on Twitch. I don't know if we saw the notification. Anyway, is there a render here? A swarm attack is successful.
Hein? Mais je vous entends pas.
So what I know is that I won't change the behavior of this function, but maybe I'll create a new one because I already wanted to deprecate that one, so that instead of saying
goodbye.
Right.
No, they have already two things. Okay, Artemis?
instead of saying this means when the enemy is hit by the sword, I want that to happen, and that is always a string. And custom means call the on custom attack received event. But what would be better? It would be much better to just pass a callback, like we always do in more modern functions of the Lua API of Solarus. So a good solution would be to keep the behavior of this unchanged to avoid breaking existing projects. Since it's not really a bug, it's more a bad choice, but we have some quests that do expect this behavior. And when I implement the callback parameter of set attack consequence, then in this case the engine will not automatically stop the sword. Okay. Let's see if there exists a bug for that.
There's Butcher.
On custom attack received. Apparently not. There is a to-do in the code, at least, I think.
Plate. Bowl.
But just to be sure. Nope. Yeah, okay. Oops, on custom attack, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Just
okay, maybe there is nothing in the code, no to do, no nothing, but okay, cool, STD Gregoire. That's great news. So if you were here in the previous stream on Solarus, there was this performance issue that we tried to reproduce. It was a stream on Zelda A Link to the Dream, actually, because at that time we didn't know if it was an engine issue or a project issue, a Lua code issue. But it's an engine issue, at least the one we reproduced. There was something very, very slow which was not normal when drawing a lot of entities of sprites. So yeah, STD Gregor is fixing that, actually fixed that, and is cleaning the code. Alright, so we keep this bug open, we create a new issue.
How can you say this disappeared?
I really want to be sure.
You say the child disappeared.
I really thought we had this written somewhere, but maybe not. Okay.
Or he's doing that, maybe.
Is there enemy on custom attack received? By the way, what is this one exactly? I have to check that.
Because he's Russian?
Movement cannot move immobilized enemies. That's funny. Yeah.
At the moment.
Choose custom sprites. Sprite can attack. Custom grounds.
What?
And what if I search? Oops. Parameter. Adoption, no, that's not this one.
Basic.
Ah, yeah, it's not on custom attack received that needs a new parameter. It's set attack consequence. That's why I couldn't find it. Okay, so the bug already exists. No need to create it again. And the funny thing is that it was already planned for 1.6. So why don't we work on that right now? I mean on that. But first, yeah, I want to see what this is about, because if we are doing that, maybe we should take care of this issue as well. Enemy custom attack received does not allow to call enemy hurt. Nothing happens. Okay, this is something different. And it's really a bug. There won't be any compatibility issue with this one, so we can focus on this. Okay. Oops. So won't fix.
No.
What? For enemies jumping? Enemies jumping above the hero. The hero is on the ground with sword loading animation that won't cause and stop being sword loading state. Okay, but you don't want a collision stopping the sword swinging state as well. It's not specific to sword loading. We cannot Change the behavior of on custom of enemy on custom attack received, but with that other bug. The sword won't be stopped. Won't be automatically.
That's why.
But yeah, with the new
but we're not alone.
Callback parameter of that bug, the sword won't be automatically stopped. Close and comment. Okay. So Diarender, do you agree that we should not stop the sword automatically here? But that's true for sword loading, but also for the two other sword states, sword swinging and sword spin attack. Okay, apparently he cannot join the stream. So I have to ask. I really want to. Oh, see. Yes, you're here. Okay, you're in the YouTube stream. Okay. So the question is, again, I completely agree in the new API here to not stop the sword. But I don't want to make a difference between sword loading, sword swinging, and sword spin attack. So the sword will just not be stopped at all automatically. Okay. I should probably start with a unit test. New map. So it's enemy set attack consequence callback. That's a very long map name. Okay. So to write this unit test, we will do everything as if the feature already existed. But what I forgot is that to do even better than starting with the unit test is starting with the documentation. This should not be very hard. Set attack consequence. Oh, there's also a set attack consequence sprite. Oh, I have to update both functions. Okay. Is there a get? There's also a get attack consequence. So what do we do in this case? Do we return a function?
Yeah, because I wanted to stop, but Stukov pushed me far away. Ah.
guess we have to return the function in this case. Alright. I won't do it tonight, I will only do the documentation tonight. Because it's actually bigger than I thought. I have to modify 4 functions instead of 1 and write unit tests for all these 4 functions. But at least I think I know what I want. Return how is enemy, blah blah blah. Okay.
Yeah, why you don't stay involved?
A function.
It's too close, and you go to the no, you run away.
Let's start with well, wait, attack, blah blah blah, consequence indicates the possible values are the same as, okay, but then it's easier to put this here. It may be. Okay, a positive integer as enemy is hurt and loses this number of life points. This particular case of a sword attack, this number will by default be increased by the level of the sword. Custom events on custom attack received is called a function. How can I say that? Oh wait, consequence is number, string, or a function. To be called when this enemy receives the attack. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
And I should also recommend to use the function instead of the custom string. Don't have a lot of inspiration for documentation tonight.
I don't know how, but okay. Yeah. Oh shoot.
Okay, I think it should be clear enough.
As you go.
What are the parameters of the function that will be called? What are the parameters of custom attack received is the question.
Who was that?
Attack and sprite.
Ah, the boss?
Attack. By the way, custom attack received is a bad name. It's custom reaction. It's a custom reaction to a built-in attack.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, remark.
Okay, I take
using an attack the attack consequence custom and this event.
Okay.
Yeah, Twitch chat. No problem, Diarender. How can I say that it's not really deprecated? Not officially deprecated, but there is an easier way. Hello again, Diarender. Instead of using this event and the attack consequence custom, you can also simply pass a callback parameter to set to set attack consequence.
Not really. And he's taking on.
And okay, instead of using this event, okay, you can also simply
okay, take the right and take.
And let's also say that in the particular case of a sword attack, the sword state is stopped and the hero goes back to state. It's not that easy.
Nasipo, charging Nasipo. Oh.
To free state, okay. To state free. So at least the behavior is documented now. The sprite of this enemy that we see, okay.
But
okay, good. Okay, a function to be called when the enemy receives the attack. The function takes one parameter. Do I really want to pass the attack? No parameter.
Oh yeah. Fetch.
Okay, so then the versions with sprites. No, consequence, okay. Consequence can be number, string, or function. Indicates what happens when the sprite receives the attack.
Butcher is low.
Okay. Consequence.
Yeah, why they didn't take the top one?
Okay, so if you do set attack consequence sprite, you specify a sprite, you specify an attack and something. So yeah, and the something, if it's a function, you don't want parameters attack and sprite. We needed them in on-custom attack received because it was a separated event. And all types of attacks and sprites had to use the same value here for consequence, which was the string custom. And the same callback, the same event was called for all of them. And that's why we needed the attack and the sprite parameters there. But we don't want them here. Okay, good. Then yeah, it should be quite easy. Let's generate a documentation. And check the results. Set attack consequence number or string. Nope, that's not true. Did it work? Okay, I had to refresh. Number, string, or function. There was an extra comma here. Okay. Okay, cool. Number string function. And I also change the doc of this.
Okay. C'est pas grave, on s'en fiche.
Okay. Let's be really precise.
Ouais, mais ça dépend des maps aussi.
Set attack consequence sprite. Okay, good.
Un petit peu parce que du coup, on ne peut pas demander de son chien.
Document new callback parameter of enemy set attack consequence sprite.
Ouais, comment tu sais?
Okay, stock is not done. I forgot to do git pull first. Okay, no conflict. Git push.
Lundi après. Ouais. On part quand?
Okay. So, unit test. Set attack consequence. So I have to put an enemy and to hurt the enemy. That should be possible. But this enemy is complicated, it can hide and everything. I need a simpler one. Well, this one is simple. So test enemy will be even simpler. Just default parameters everywhere. Okay. Model test enemy. Ah, yeah, it doesn't have. The editor doesn't show the correct sprite, but well, I could. Oh, there are a lot of things to update here. Test enemy sprite exists. But let's just copy this file here. Working. And no, I don't want it to be a slime. So let's keep test enemy. Okay, we have the hero. We have our test enemy, and let's put a wall. Maybe like this, so that we can see the wall in the quest editor. And then let's do some code that attacks the enemy with the sword. Okay. On opening transition finished. Simulate command pressed. Attack. Let's start with this. Just to see if it works. Tests. Okay, I have to declare my new test. How did I call it again? Okay. So if I run my test here, oh, of course. Market game. So nothing happens. It means that if it works, but there is no display, no nothing. We can run this manually. Without turbo and without the no video parameters. Audio, we don't really care. Okay. So this is what we have. Maybe I don't have a sword because nothing happens when I press the attack key. Okay. Let's give a sword to our player in unstarted. That should do the trick. Oh, that was loud.
I don't know.
At least it works. Run Lua test. Oh, why are you doing this? Anyway. Okay, we don't really care about the sound, but it works. The enemy was killed immediately. So let's continue. This guy needs a name. Set attack consequence. Sword. So when it's hit by the sword, we pass a function parameter. Oh, let's just say
Lily
hit.
looks like a cat. Lily, she looks like a cat.
And create a timer. After, let's say, 1 second, our callback should have been executed. A third hit. And then we can stop. Okay, so I started again with the unit test. Test-driven development, but that's not how I should run. I should run from here. And bad argument number 2, of course. String expected, not a really great error message because it's string or integer expected. Good function. But yeah.
Yeah, but Chris is string. When we are
that's normal, of course. We haven't implemented the function yet.
Next time, okay?
Now instead of exiting, I will test the second function.
Next time.
On the same enemy.
But now I have Chris.
But set attack consequence sprite. And I have to tell which sprite, so it's the only sprite of the enemy. Sort function, hit sprite.
No, not yet. I mean,
assert hit and another timer.
But it means
assert hit sprite.
Inside.
And this way I will have tested both functions. Of course it will still not work. Alright. I can still commit this but not push because it would break the continuous integration. What? Ah, I meant git add. And git commit everything. Add unit test for enemy set attack consequence callback parameter. And okay, only the C++ part is still to be done. So maybe I will do it in this stream after all. Let's see how easy it can be. I don't remember how this stuff is stored. Attack reaction, so I have a class here, enemy reaction, so that's nice. It's an enum plus an enum here, type of reaction plus the number of points of life points lost. Okay, so I can easily add a callback parameter then. Received is called. So you get the idea. I should just add another one. Oh, not sprite. What am I doing? Callback. What? Oh, maybe it's a bad name. If it was automatically suggested, I'm very scared. But it's an enum class. But still, if there is a macro called callback, we won't find this here. Case sensitive. No match.
Oh.
ABC. Do you mean it's just a word of the dictionary? Alright, let's try. And since I'm a maniac, I want capitals and points. I guess the last comma is not allowed. Now there's still something wrong with the word callback here. It's not in the same color. Let's see what the compiler says. Doesn't say anything special. It's just Qt Creator doesn't like that.
Yeah, we need. Come faster.
Okay.
No, no.
Lua callback. And then what do we have more precisely? We have a type of reaction, life points lost, only used for this kind of reaction, and I have a class scoped Lua ref that can it's just an object, a C++ object that refers to a Lua value. With some C++ safety. Okay, Lua callback. Scoped Lua ref callback. Still want to autocomplete. With reaction type Lua callback.
Go, I meant.
Okay. And I have to end my comment. Callback, no parameters. Then, so this is a subclass of enemy reaction. And enemy reaction stores one general reaction and then some sprite specific reactions. Okay, so and all of these can be Lua callbacks now. Okay, so I guess I'll pass another parameter here. Is this okay? Which by default is just nothing.
I'm sleeping, so this is my last.
It's a bit weird. Yeah, maybe I should just expose this class. Let's try like this first. Okay.
Je suis fatiguée parce que je me lève à 7 heures.
It's compiling.
Oh.
Prototype blah 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 does not match. Yeah, maybe I could also use const references to avoid useless copies, even if these are very simple objects. The reaction to set number of life points to lose. Call back. A function to call only for reaction. Lua call back. Reaction type. Lua call back. Then general reaction. Callback. At this point I want to check that callback is not nil. I mean, it's not empty. It's funny, I don't really do the same here. Okay. Returns the reaction. Oh, so this struct is already exposed. So I could really improve that easily and just ask callers to pass an object of this type. But later. What's wrong with this line? Get reaction. What is it that you don't like? Unexpected token?
I'm sleeping.
There must be a okay. Found it.
This is hard. This one.
prototype blah blah blah. Oh, I forgot to add my new parameter. Problem if I refactor this function and this function is that I don't have any unit test for set attack consequence. Or maybe I have for particular bugs, I'm not sure. Let's find out. Set attack consequence. No, we don't. This is the new code from today. Anyway, still compiling.
It took a very long time.
So we are now able to store a callback, and we need to set and just call set the set and the get. Who calls this? Only this guy? Really? And no one calls this? Oh, because the names have changed. No, they haven't changed. Why can't you find the callers here? Set sprite reaction. Set general reaction. Okay.
Okay, I really have to go because during the end of the game I did the like this.
Oh, I'm blind. Set attack. Okay, here and here.
Oh,
alright. Oh.
Giving to me.
I have to pass my
Hello?
invalid amount of life. I had a lot of refactoring to make here.
Yeah, but there.
Set no attack consequence. Set default.
I'm so tired of this. Okay, good night.
Okay, thanks for the pull requests.
You can stay together.
STD Guagua. Set attack consequence and set attack consequence sprite. Heart life points. These are the default ones. Okay. Let's just continue. Don't make some big refactorings yet. Add the parameter here and here. Set attack consequence. I want to add unit test before I refactor this. So I'm adding a lot of parameters for now. I know it's not really pretty. Did it work? Set the consequence. Come back. I think so. Then why is Qt creator not happy? Except that I don't. Okay, it's just that I didn't use a callback here, I think. So I check the life lost here and not here, and I check the what? No. When did I start a debugging session? And I check the callback here and not here. Let's move this. Okay. I think I can remove that, but I will need it here. And what is it I want to do? Do I need IOStream here? Probably not. We will see. Enumeration not. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I haven't finished. There is this subtlety here. If is in normal state, custom attack, and if not, yeah, I have to do the same. What does this function do exactly? Not much. Enemy on custom attack received. Redefine this function to handle the attack. So this comment is very old. It was back when enemies were defined in C++ and there was no Lua. Okay. Lua callback. Okay. If it's in normal state, I can just do reaction dot callback call. Yeah, simply that. no parameters, we said. Okay, I know what is important is that notify attack enemy in sword loading state. We do have the full reaction here, so we can do if not, I mean if a result dot type is not enemy reaction reaction type Lua callback, then free. Same thing for all 3 sword states. And sword tapping, I'm not sure. It's not usual to hit enemies with sword tapping state, but I will check. Anyway, sword swinging, I think we do the same. Yeah, there's also the get push hero on sword. I will only do that. I will not do that if there is a custom reaction, because custom reaction you redefine this kind of stuff. And the sword swinging, loading, spin attack. Okay, why are you? Maybe it's just spin attack state. Notify attacked enemy, interrupting. Okay, so we have the same stuff here. Victim get push hero on sword, but only if we are not customizing too much. Okay, and finally sword. So what happens with sword tapping? Okay, it can happen as well. Get push, blah blah blah. Wait. If attack is sword, then you can write it like that. And simplify. Sword tapping, sword singing. What is this? Attack equals true. What is this used for? Enemies are really complicated. Not attack. Ah, okay. Okay. Then to make it consistent, I should not do this either. So if attack is sword and the result is not ignore and not Lua callback, then attack equals true, and then I do this additional stuff. So this was sword swinging. I hope I'm not changing anything at all in the old behavior. I don't think I am. Sword loading. Attack sword and result type is not ignored. So in here I move to sword stepping state. I don't think I want that either. Too much specific stuff. Let's allow the user to choose what they want in their callback. We just change nothing by default. And what did I forget? If attack. Yeah. Spin attack. I also need to update this one the same way. Sword not ignored. Sword is complicated because there are 4 states. 4 hero states where he's using his sword. What happened here? What did I do? Okay. Wait. So we see that if you do a Lua callback that does absolutely nothing, it will have the same effect as reaction type ignored. Let's see if other people define that. Yes, they do. For example, arrows are still automatically removed. We don't care about arrows. They only exist for historical reasons in the engine. We break the carried item. So same question, if you throw something at an enemy and you create a custom reaction to that, do you want the item to break? No, you don't. And if you want to do it, you do it from your callback. This does nothing by default. Entity state, explosion. Explosions keep a list of victims. Probably to avoid to hurt them a lot of times. but it's the same. This is some predefined behavior that you don't want by default, and you can easily do it from your script if you want something like that. Hookshot. We don't care about hookshot. Spin attack. Okay. So I removed a lot of implicit stuff that happened with on custom attack received, and it will be much cleaner when you use a callback. Really, you have nothing built in that happens. Well, you still have this. No, this is only in C++. Forget about it. Okay. Okay. The completion was successful. I did call the function. Now the only thing I still have to do is to update my Lua code, my Lua C++ binding. Okay, set attack consequence. I have to update all 4 of them. Okay, get attack consequence. So if it's hurt, you return an integer. If it's Lua callback, you return the function. So I have a special function for that. Callback push. Pushes the reference value onto the Lua stack. Okay, that was easy. By the way, I want to I can check more stuff. Assert enemy get attack consequence sword. Initially it's 1, it's the default value. And after set attack consequence is called, I can wait. Sword equals 1. And here I can check that, at least I can check get type is function. What? No, sword gets right, enemy gets right. Okay. So we push the callback, and in get attack consequence sprite is exactly the same. We push the callback, and set attack consequence. Okay, so we have an enemy, we have check enemy attack names, yes. if it's a number, it's hurt, else it must be a string. So this part should change. But what I should do, no. Else if Lua is string L3, and I can add else Lua tools type error L3 and expected type name, because earlier it only said string expected, but it was not true, it was integer or string. But now it's, I mean number or string, and now it's number, string or function. And if Lua is function L3, then enemy set I use the Lua notation, attack consequence, attack. So the reaction type is Lua callback, and callback, let's define it here, scope Lua ref callback equals how do I do that? Create, I don't remember. I mean, I should have a function like this, check function, yeah, check function L3. Okay. Same for set attack consequence sprite. Let's give the same order, and here I had else if is, I mean Lua is string, but this time is number 4 because there is a sprite before, and if function 4, okay, and set attack consequence sprite, and it's done, and it doesn't compile, no match, attack, yeah, I have to put 0 first. There are these two ugly optional parameters. That's the thing I want to refactor. And same problem here. Also I forgot to pass the sprite, so the first parameter is the sprite. Okay, I think it should work. We'll see if the unit test is happy. At least the engine compiles. Let's run our test here. Attempt to index a function value. Okay, not working yet. 18. Oh, no. Ah, this is not valid Lua. It's getting hard to read. Local reaction, that, and then local sprite reaction. it looks like it worked. I have set, yeah. So I try to show you the window, it's just that it starts in the wrong screen. Okay, it stopped after 1 second because I have this timer here. But when this timer finishes, exit is called, and we did assert that both callbacks were executed. So, for example, if I comment this, I make callbacks that do nothing, then it will fail. Boom, not happy. I can also check that the state is still sword loading, because this would not have been true with the old way the on custom attack received. So hero get state, I think sword loading like this with a space, and I have a small function assert equal that gives me better error messages. Expected, I mean actual and then expected, assert equal. Can use it here as well. Okay, this is working, and it's much faster when I run it with the turbo option. Because I don't wait any time between each between every cycle of the simulation. Okay, so that was nice. We can commit this, and don't forget to tell the changelog. That's a Lua API change, no incompatibility at all. We were very careful. Do we have anything about enemies? Yes, here. Set attacking collision mode. I put it before because it's more important. Add optional callback to our parameter, I don't know, to enemy. Set attack consequence. And set attack consequence sprite, but if people want details, they will see the issue. Optional, let's say optional callback parameter. Yeah, I couldn't have copy pasted. Close these. Cool. It will really make the life easier of Dire Ender and all people who do enemies. Why is it not closed? Okay, it's closed. The normal zone. I think it should have been stopped, but yeah. Anyway, uncustomer attack received should no longer be used in new games. The same should happen with restate. Okay, so you seem happy about that. You can test it right away. I mean, oh, you have to compile the engine, I guess. More exactly, I have to compile it on Windows. Remark. Okay, so this one is closed, this one is closed and fixed. Thank you, Phoenix. What else did I want to do? I think there was something, but never mind. Okay, so this was some nice progress on the Solarus engine. Oh, I know what is. I wanted to see that. So it's a pull request from STD Gregoire about the performance issue with the new drawing feature. Okay, cool. I will have to read and understand all of this at some point. Draw info. That's interesting. Blend mode, opacity. Wow. Template. Okay. Oh, this is a big change. I wanted to end the stream, but now I want to test this. Yes, Phoenix, you do need to recompile the editor as well when you recompile the engine, except if you're really lucky and I didn't change too many H files, or if I didn't change anything that the Quest editor directly uses, like reading maps, reading tilesets. But in general, I never even ask myself. I always recompile both whenever I want to make a snapshot for people. Okay, let's take this. compile. There will be a lot of recompilation. Am I in release mode? Yes. And then I'll make a new snapshot this weekend, but at least I will try. Problem is that I have compilation issues on my very old Windows virtual machine. Because shader stuff don't work on this machine. Hi again, STD Gregoire. I'm going to test your pull request. It's compiling right now. So can you try to remove ARB shaders? It would help me compile the engine correctly on my old Windows. Or not. Yeah, actually, yeah, when you remove them, I will have to use a more recent Windows to compile everything once you remove them. Does this work with ARB shaders? That's my question. I can try the profiling, yes. I really want to know how it improved from last time. Don't know if I still have my Valgrind result. Apparently I do. Okay, so the compilation of the engine is finished, and now I'm also compiling the quest editor. Okay. So if ARB shaders are still available, and yeah, the thing is that so far I'm still creating Windows snapshots that only use ARB shaders, because I can't even compile the other files. So if people want to test this performance on this performance improvements on Windows, I have to use it will be with ARB shaders, or I have to spend a lot of time configuring a new Windows, which I will do eventually. Okay, the completion of the quest editor was quick, and then let's run the quest editor with ALTTD. Okay, so last time we played a little bit on some maps, especially this one, and when we were here there was a slight performance problem. Slight on my machine, but maybe worse on less powerful machines. And it was because all these sprites here, there are a lot of bushes, were creating a lot of useless intermediate surfaces. So that's what STD-Quagware fixed, and we could see that in the profiling. Surface clear, draw intermediate. Let's go back to the main. Draw stuff on an intermediate surface, and half of the time was spent just clearing these intermediate surfaces, which is really stupid. And normally this should have been fixed. So I didn't really feel, what's that? Well, it was not really slow on my machine, it was a problem. It was very hard to reproduce any issue, so I can't really tell if it's better here. But let's at least try to do some profiling again. Felt green, tool, ink was color green, blah blah blah, no audio, ALTTD, go. Alright, start the profiling now. And try to move. Okay, I already feel that I move faster than during the previous profiling. During the previous profiling I tried to move for a few seconds like this, and I was only able to move of a few pixels. So that looks good. Let's see the result. I'm just moving some files, okay. Okay, here's what happened when I was moving. We're still spending all the time in draw. No, that's a bug. Forgot about this draw. I don't know why it's reported like that, but this is update and this is draw, which, like probably any game engine do. It's a main loop with an update step and a draw step. So it's quite good if they are balanced. It means that none of them is taking an awful lot of time and would be preventing the other from doing its job. If we compare that to the previous one, where is it? I closed it. maybe I closed it. If you compare this to the previous one, you have draw here, but that function called step, which is the update step, was only taking like 2% of the time. So all collision computations and Lua stuff, even Lua calls. So this is a lot of things. Only took 2% of the time because we were spending an awful lot of time drawing in the draw here. That was really not normal. Back to the other one. So now 55% to compute stuff and 44% to draw stuff. That's already looks much more normal. Game update, map update, entities update, and here we have all collisions and movement computations. Some time spent to update all entities because there are a lot of destructible items. And you see, we did 1,000 draws and 168. Sorry, 1,000 updates and 168 draws. And here, I don't remember exactly how many times I kept the profiling. It was also a few seconds, but we were able to do 80 draws and probably almost no update, because I would have moved more. Also 80, yeah. So the drawings were taking so much time that there were not a lot of updates. Okay. So this branch looks normal. We have some Lua stuff, timers that are called. Game update. Lot of Lua stuff. Check collisions, hero movement. Everything is normal here. Nothing is shocking. And in the draw branch, we draw the map, we draw the entities, and here you can see a lot of time spent not really drawing, but just figuring out which entities are in the rectangle of the screen, actually. Because this is a big map, and we don't draw everything, we first select the entities that are in the screen, like, I don't know, that. And this takes 5% of the time. Thanks to quad trees, it doesn't take more time. Maybe this can be improved because there are some memory allocations that are useless here. Yeah, delete 1%. New 1%. I'm happy to see that because I was waiting to see a profiling where this would show up. New and delete in quad trees. Before I optimize them, I was waiting to see if they are really significant, and so far I didn't know they were. Well, it's only 5%, so, but we could work and improve this branch one day. It's really not a priority though. Drawing order comparator, so that's obviously slow because at each it's again some computation, it's still not drawing. At each at every frame we compare the order of all entities to know which one we draw first. So all the ones that we have selected in the rectangle of the screen are then sorted, because the quad tree gives them in arbitrary order, more or less. We have a rectangle, but they all have an order. Even if they don't overlap, they could overlap. For example, this bush is below this bush, so they don't overlap, but this one is still displayed first. That's what we are computing here, and it takes some time. Maybe there would be a way to improve that, I'm not sure. And apparently the real draw is here and only takes 17%. 68 draws, and we have about 1000 entities visible on the screen. That's a lot. Maybe that's normal. We draw visual, so all of this should just in the end be equivalent to just drawing one surface, because there are not a lot of animations here. This is one surface, this is one surface, this is one surface. So we still have some number, 62,000 approximately, and we have the render operation. So actually, draw, when I say that draw don't take a lot of time, the real draw here, it takes some GPU time. So the graphic card now does a lot of the work, but this profiler only measures CPU time, so doesn't mean that it's really extremely fast to draw. It's just that it's not the CPU that does it, and it allows the CPU to do more stuff, to do more other stuff. Okay. This looks really good. Yeah, there is nothing wrong here. Nothing obvious. Except in my code. 12% of time is spent just to sort entities that are visible on the screen. Maybe we could cache this information somehow. I'm not sure how to do that. Anyway, very good work, STD Gregoire. I missed a lot of comments. Yeah, I'm not sure why it says menu draw here. And menu draw 2. There is no recursion. So it's the profiler who gets it wrong. But I started the profiling in the middle of the execution, so maybe it's harder for the profiler to know the function that was executed, that was being executed. It must be main loop run. Main loop draw is here, but and main loop step is here. This is the update step, and main loop run is here. So and run calls step and draw. But I started the profiling during the execution, so we were already in main loop run. So I don't really know how the profiler tries to guess the name of the color here. Maybe there are some heuristics, but clearly it didn't work this time. But not a problem. We understand that there is the update step and the draw step. Okay. And when you have a performance issue, a big performance issue, you sometimes have a very big rectangle which is only one function that does stupid things usually. Entity update takes a lot of time here. Entity gets sprite as well. What is this? Oh, we are here. Destructible update. Well, there are a lot of entities, so maybe it's normal. Entity update 13%. Lots of dynamic allocations. That's surprising. Clear all sprites. Clear all sprites. Notify boundary was changed. Tracking state. So it's a camera. Why does entity update allocates anything? The thing is that dynamic allocations, malloc and free, even if they take like 5% of the CPU time, they take more actual time. I have some experience in this, but since they sometimes have to do some system calls to lock stuff because they are supposed to work even in parallel. They cost more time than only CPU time, but also system time. Just merging the already sorted sprite. One easier thing would be to keep the list from the previous draw, because most of the time the entities that are intersecting the screen are exactly the same as in the previous frame. So I could try something like that. Anyway, let's check that. I'm curious. Entity update. Yeah, too many malloc and freeze. If I could avoid some of them, I mean all of these ones on this branch, I would win more than the 5% that they represent here in actual time. Entity update. So entity update does a lot of things. Okay. Oh my. Oh my. Wow. Ah no, maybe it's normal. I was shocked because I make a copy here, a deep copy of this vector, which is just a vector of most of the time one element, but this is still our malloc, and this explains our malloc and free. However, maybe it's sprite removed. It's a name and a pointer to a sprite, but since I'm iterating on a copy here, how can this ever become true? Well, I think I have to iterate on a copy here because the list might be modified during the iteration, so it makes sense to iterate on a copy here. But name sprite removed. I don't think this can ever be true. Anyway, that's not the problem. Movement update. Clear all sprites. This one also was taking some time. We iterate on the sprites, but we should not allocate anything. Why is it so slow? Just because it's called a lot of times. It's still strange. Clear old. Okay. And this list, or most of the times, has one element exactly. There must be an easy way to avoid these stupid allocations. The list can get modified during the iteration, but not really, since now we use that. We put a remove boolean, we don't really remove it immediately. What we can do is add stuff. Maybe this is more dangerous. Git blame. Did I add the fact that it's a copy? Did I add that later? Fix wrong hero sprite, return after changing the tunic sprite. Oh yes. Oh, because it's a case where you remove a sprite and you add another one in the same cycle. So that's probably in this commit that I started to work on a copy. yeah, everywhere I get sprites. Where is the update? Is here. This is why I started to work on a copy. It's too bad that std vector needs an allocation for only one element, but it's one element of that type. Okay. Having a vector member and fill it instead of recreating it. Yeah, that should work. Like I didn't have enough members yet in that class. So I already have sprites. No, I don't have all sprites, but I was also thinking that 99% of the time or more the vector only has one element. So can I move all of this in some function, update sprite? Except this. No. No. Just return. And I have a small trick here. If sprite's size is exactly 1, I really don't need a copy. Like this. So this is a kind of optimization that makes the code less clear. Clear sprites. You do a special case just to avoid a copy. So only do this when profiling tells you that it's useful to do it. Otherwise it's premature optimization. iterate on a copy because the list might change during the iteration. And sprite 0 is a reference to, so it's no longer a copy. But since I'm only, yeah, the reference will remain valid because I never removed it. I can only change this boolean, and I can add some stuff. Oh, but if I add some stuff, there might be a problem. Update sprite. I don't really need the name sprite parameter. I only need the sprite. Okay, that's better. And okay, so these lines will go back to the loop. I don't need the name. I only need the pointer. So if I can avoid to copy the name, maybe that's why we have allocations, because we copy some std strings. Name sprite dot sprite. Sprites 0 dot sprite. Yeah, I make a copy, but the problem is not really the fact that I make a copy. It's the fact that I make a copy of an object that has an std string, and it's stupid because I don't even use the std string at all. But do I really have a choice? I only store std vector name sprite, so and I don't want to change this for now. Okay, my function update sprite is not declared. Where are sprite functions? Update sprite. Really? Const? No way, I updated. You are not a const function. I mean, not a const sprite. Do entities have the flag that re-raise when their sprite has to change? Define change. I call sprite update at each frame, and it's the sprite that that knows that if it needs to change or not. Basically, it checks the current time, and if it's time to show the next frame of its animation, then that's what it does. Sprite update. If it's suspended, it does nothing. And then we have a while. While now is greater than the date of the next frame the frame should take, then it goes to the next frame. Okay, build is finished. Oh, I'm still in the branch. I forgot that. Can the game still run? Oh, we have a problem with the fade here. Transitions are still broken. But I don't want to run this game, but this one. So we should have just won a lot of free and malloc, a lot of dynamic allocations. How many did we have exactly? We had like 5% during... no, that's not the one. 5% during entity update, but the total was how many? Not that much. Still have a lot from the quad trees. But that's all. Update quad trees and almost nothing here. STD vector, entities draw. I'm not sure which vector this seems. Set cache sort. Yeah, we already saw that we have stuff to sort. Anyway, yeah, that's the interesting part. I'm going to do some more profiling to see the improvement. Is it me, or I can just... oh no. I forgot to run the profiling. Okay, now it's profiling. Okay. I was surprised that it was so fast. Okay. And now let's see the result. Let's kill this new and delete. Okay. This was before. Oops. I'm not sure if it makes sense to compare that, but it was 55 and 44, let's say. And now 52, 47. And it's indeed this branch that I just optimized. Entity update. Okay, that's nice. Only 30% now instead of 20%. In entity update, it was 20%. So we saved like 7% of CPU time. We no longer see this malloc and free. We can still improve some small stuff here. Clear sprites should really not be that bad. But 1%, it's okay. If we want to really optimize more, but we could have fun with the quad trees. The funny thing is that quad trees are already way faster than before they were introduced. But like I was saying earlier, we can save some allocations in quad trees. Here. So we spend 20% of the total time trying to find all entities that are in some rectangle. So sometimes you want the rectangle of the camera just to know all entities you have to draw, and sometimes you are checking entities near the hero or entities near an enemy that has moved, stuff like that. But it always comes down to getting the elements in a rectangle using the quad tree. And this is where we do way too much delete. You see, we have like this function is called 16,000 times, but we have more than 100,000 deletes, and probably the same number of new here. And this is just, I knew that from the beginning. It's just that the first implementation of quad trees was using some std vectors and copying them sometimes. So I started with something simple that worked, and like I said, I was waiting for a case like that before optimizing them. Rectangle overlaps is the real work we expect a quad tree to do, but new and delete, not so much. And what is this one? Short BTR, I mean tree, we don't know the name of the function. Insert, okay. Inserting things in the quad tree. This is probably normal. Why would not get elements insert anything in a quad tree though? So no, we don't insert in a quad tree, we insert in an std set, I think. I won't optimize that today. Wait, what I need to do is to commit my stuff, but in the dev branch. Avoid copying strings. In entity update. Git push. I can also reference wrappers. I'm not sure what you mean, because copying a shared PTR does not cost anything. I mean, we should not see that in the profiling. Sprites are updated at a much higher rate than they are drawn. Yeah, but the update does nothing most of the time. Yes, I think transitions are broken. In the intro of XD2, there's a problem. Yes. I'm gonna have to recompile everything. In the meantime, let's merge the pull request. Something happened in this discussion. Cool. Yeah, thank you, Diando. Merge pull request in dev. Let's go. Confirm. Yeah, great work. What did I want to see? Just wanted to see how quad trees are implemented. Containers, quad tree. Yeah, so I have some functions that return std vector. I have std vector here, elements. Get elements, std set. Oh, I also have get elements that returns std vector. Yeah, if I want sorted elements, I call the version with std set. But if I don't care about sorting, I can use the version with std vector. But clearly this one makes a copy here. Get elements, yeah, with only one parameter, the rectangle. So this is the one that returns a vector. Yeah, rectangle parameter, yes. So this is this function. Malloc free, but rb3 is std set. Oh yeah, we create an std set. We get its element and then we convert it to a vector. That's why sometimes it is wasted. But that's stupid. That's really stupid. I thought this function was supposed to be faster than the std set version because precisely it was not an std set. And we should not waste time waste any time sorting elements. So this should be improved one day. How much time is wasted, do you think, here? All of this is wasted, probably everything about std set free, and this one, it's actually the most important one. It's get element, it's version with set. Yeah. Overlaps only takes 1%. You see, there is really room for improvement. Quad trees take 12% of the time, but actual coordinate comparisons take 1% of the time. Okay, more than that. Anyway, you get the idea. I can improve the how data structures are used here, but not today. And it's very nice that draw operations are getting faster and faster, because if they were slow like before, especially before accelerated graphics, it would be completely pointless to try to optimize here, because if all the time is wasted anyway in draw, it would not make any difference to optimize updates like the thing I did in entity update earlier. Okay, it's really time to stop the stream. I did a stream much longer than I thought, but I was curious about profiling stuff. I think you noticed that I love this stuff. Everything's committed. Okay, guys, thank you all for watching. Next stream will be Thursday. It will be chess. Maybe I will stream something earlier, but I'm not sure yet about this weekend, and normally I'm not available, but you never know. Thank you all for watching. See you next time. Bye.